Good morning, everyone. Today is Good Friday, Karfreitag, as we call it in Switzerland. And I always wondered why, when I came to this country, Good Friday, why would you call this Good Friday? So, car comes from the German word chara, which means wail, sorrow, and lamentation. Yes? The Friday of sorrow, wailing, and lamenting over a horrific thing that happened 2,000 plus years ago. It's a dreary day here today. Oh, you guys are, oh, you're so wet. Oh, go ahead, Em. No. You're wet from head to toe. You're wet from head to toe. You are. Oh, my gosh. I find it interesting how every one of our dogs has their own look. That thing, he can, come on, yo. Yeah, what a day every year that we are reminded of not just the death of Jesus, but how destructive mob mentality is. A mob. Find it interesting that on how it seems like really when it comes down to it, the people around the world have never gotten out of that mob mentality. Yes, we still put good people in jail and let criminals run free, or put them away for a little while and let them back out and they do the same thing again. And it's all by consensus of the people. Right? Just as it was at Jesus' time, it was up to the people at that time, according to the stories in the Bible, where Pontius Pilatus his wife had a dream where she told her husband the next day, just before the trial, don't have anything to do with this. You are going to give the choice to the people. Let them decide what to do with their own man. And he did. He even got a basin out, washed his hands, and said, I'm not a part of this. And he brought a criminal out of jail, Barnabas, and said, okay, I'm going to let one of them go. Either Jesus or Barnabas, who was a criminal. Had rebelled, killed many people, just for whatever reason he had. And the people wanted whom free and whom put on the cross. Unbelievable. Are we much better today? It is what it is. Oh, and I saw another one. I don't know why this stuff keeps popping up on my Facebook, but it does. Simple math problems, and unbelievable what people all come up with. So there's some new math out there. I'm looking at it and going, wait, that's way off the actual answer of this math problem. And to me, immediately, so, okay, how to tell the people, you can't just change the rules when it comes to all this, because if I'll not just take the numbers, but what am I using these numbers for? For example, to build something where inches, feet and yards are involved in it? How about distance? And then I'm looking at this, and I've got to come to the right answer in order to build anything. To calculate volume, for example, an area of something, then you can't use the new method. You will never get it right. It's just not going to happen. You won't be able to use math in actual life, in reality. So we got cyber math going on. Okay, good luck with that. So unbelievable on how many people, hundreds of thousands of people that are actually putting their comment in on what it is are wrong. And how few are right. Interesting. And again, how many, I bet you that every one of them that has actually the math problem right gets the proper answer due to the fact that they know the formulas and what all the symbols mean, plus, minus, multiplication, division. Guys, out, 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 out. Gus, Ham, out. Gus, are you listening? He's holding on to his tail. Out. Done. This is not outside. Lots of room out there to play. Go on. Outside. Out. 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 You too. No. Nobody listening? Oh, yeah, I'm used to that too. Well, anyway, thought I'd mention that here if you come across one of them. That's it. Envision, rather than just as I said, go with what. Envision, if you were to actually build something and you needed specific measurements right, how would you solve the problem then? Yes? Okay. Well, anyway, let's get going here. Here we are. Not sure how people get, for me, to build up to it every year to this Friday where we remember the death of Jesus. Horrific death of Jesus. First thing I did this morning was apologize to God. Just how sorrowful that must have been. Then days after, it's just 3 days later is Easter. Yeah. I can't do that. I'm still. It takes me some time to get over the sorrow I feel over today. So long ago. Some people just get over things faster, I guess. It takes me a little longer. Anyway, I took out a ham. I'm going to have a good meal anyway. And ready. Don't know yet who's going to be here. Everybody's on the road, kind of, and have a feeling they'll all trickle in on Sunday. I'll be ready. If that's necessary, I'll be ready for that. Oh! Anywho. I was a blessed child. Peace in mankind, care and love for every dependent child. Peace, every child feels secure, which reflects cause and effect in a child's life. Peace, every child eats. Peace, every child is warmed in cold times. Peace, understanding a child's growth in troubling times, then to guide the child to attain harmony with peace. I am peace as a father, as a mother, as a son, as a daughter of God. peace, to become the best I can be for every child. Repentance, knowing every child is deserving of peace. Prayer, knowing every child comes first. Restored, conditions are fulfilled when every child is loved and cared for. Death separates us from our earthly path to attain peace. Our taught descendants are the future, the change of lineage, God's lineage in action, the true cause and effect in a child's harmonious and happy life. I am an adult ashamed to ask for anything from my heavenly parents for myself. If a child on earth needs my prayers and conditions greater than I, peace will happen when peace can be found in every child. I will be less than any child that suffers due to mankind's unkindness. Spirit world will hold us all accountable regardless. Remember that. I think that one thing with Car Friday, that we should really keep in mind that we have the most amazing example out there, and not just in Jesus. Many people were horribly tortured for their belief in God and in Jesus. Horribly. Some of the saints went through that. People went through that we don't even know about. And they all abstained from what? Violence. If for the sake of greater violence, I have to give my life, be killed rather than killed, then so be it. I feel that's one of the things Jesus taught us with his death on the cross. He's performed so many miracles, did this, that. A little while before that, people were greeting him with, pom-poms and wanted to touch the donkey and him, so, and just a little later, he became what to them? So quickly, easily. Never did a thing, didn't do a thing. But what was there needed him out of the way, And how easily were the people just led into that mob mentality. Interesting. All right. Well then, let's see where we are at here. The ashes of the red heifer, Numbers 19. Yahweh spoke to Moses and Aaron and said, "This is a decree of the law which Yahweh has prescribed. Tell the Israelites they are to bring you a red heifer without fault or blemish that has never borne the yoke." A red heifer. Never heard of that. Should go check out what that is. I mean, what kind of animal that is. Is it just about the color? I guess. I wonder why red. You will give it to the priest Eleazar. It will then be taken outside the camp and slaughtered in his presence. The priest Eleazar will then take some of the victim's blood on his finger and sprinkle this blood 7 times towards the entrance to the tent of meeting. The heifer will then be burnt while he looks on. Its hide, flesh, blood, and offal will be burnt. The priest will then take some cedar wood, hyssop, and scarlet material and throw them on the fire where the heifer is burning. Oh, interesting. All reddish-looking things. Even the wood, cedar, is reddish-looking on the inside. Oh. He will then wash his clothes and bathe himself, after which he will go back to the camp. Though he will remain unclean until evening. The man who has burnt the heifer will wash his clothes and bathe himself and will remain unclean until evening. The man who gathers up the ashes of the heifer must be ritually clean. He will deposit them outside the camp in a clean place. They will be kept for the ritual use of the Israelite community for making water for purification. Oh, wait a second. Ashes. The heifer must be ritually clean. He will deposit them outside the camp in a clean place. They will be kept for the ritual use of the Israelite community for making water for purification. It is a sacrifice for sin. The man who has gathered up the ashes of the heifer will wash his clothes and remain unclean until evening. For the Israelites, as for the resident alien, this will be a perpetual decree. Oh. Oh, we're back into, man. Interesting. Water for purification. What, do you put some in there and then of all that? And the water becomes more pure. What? I know that you can. Okay, that's animal ashes. To get lye, right, for example, to make soap, you take hardwood ashes and pack them good in a container. Then you make a hole on the bottom of the container. Filter it out. Put a little screen in front or whatever, and then you pour water in it. Or you pour water in it first. You make sure that's still plugged up, and then you let that sit. And then let the water run through the ashes, and you have lye. Yeah, interesting. Not sure how what this is all about. Cases of uncleanness. Here we go again. This is all such repetitious stuff, but every time we learn something. Okay, all right. Anyone who touches the corpse of anyone, whatever it will be, unclean for 7 days. Oh, holy cow! Did their undertakers ever be they were, gosh, that's a lot of people. I'd say every day or every 2 or 3 days somebody passed away. No, you'll never get out of being unclean. That's just a weird one to me. I'm not getting this. Such a person must be purified with these waters on the 3rd and 7th day and will then be clean. Otherwise, he will not be clean. No. Did everybody take care of their own dead there? And I don't have no idea. How did they do all that? How did they get purified with these waters? Did they have to drink it or wash themselves with it or just sprinkle themselves with it? Anyone who touches the corpse of anyone who has died and is not purified defiles Yahweh's dwelling. Such a person will be outlawed from Israel, since the water for purification has been sprinkled over him. He is unclean, and his uncleanness remains in him. What? I thought that was going to take care of things. Oh, has not been sprinkled. Oh, okay, got it. Okay, I didn't see the not. I need to get, these glasses are the strongest I have, and they're starting to not see every word. Oh, okay. All right, well, I don't know. Is this again something that people put in here because of the fear of death? That just, oh, okay. This is the law when someone dies in a tent. Anyone who goes into the tent or anyone who's already in it will be unclean for 7 days. And every open vessel will not, with no cover tied over it, will also be unclean. Anyone in the open country who touches a murder victim, a corpse, human bones, or a grave will be unclean for 7 days. You're not allowed to touch a grave either? Dear me. Can you imagine it? You know, it's almost as this is kind of, well, people didn't want anything to do with that, and it's like, yeah, I know you're dying, but let's move him out of the tent before he dies, he, she, and we'll make a big old circle around. Well, maybe just leave him there, right? Not sure. Or again, were there just some who felt, well, someone has to do it. Someone's got to do the proper thing by someone who passes away. And what? They just took it upon them to be just unclean most of the time. If that's how it was regarded, not sure. I don't know. Are there any undertaker stories from the Israelites about that time, letting us know a little more about what the heck does that actually mean? How did that work? It's just written down, okay? This is all theory. I'm not seeing that in action anymore, anywhere. We don't deal with death like this anymore, right? Yes? Oh, anymore. Has something changed since that time? No. Don't know. If one, the way I read is, always have, it's not just the words that I'm reading, I'm seeing the scene, the scenery of what I'm reading as well in action. And it's like difficult to make a picture of this, right? Yes? And if you do, you go, well, that was pretty insane. How did that work? Really? All right. But there it is. No idea. Can't even touch a grave. Human bones. What if you didn't know they were human bones? Thought they were animal bones? I don't know. The ritual of water for purification. For someone thus unclean, some of the ashes of the victim burnt as a sacrifice for sin, that's that red bull, will be taken, and spring water must be poured over them in a vessel. Someone who is ritually clean will then take some hyssop and dip it in the water. This person will then sprinkle the tent, all the vessels, and people who were there, and similarly anyone who has touched human bones, a murder victim, a corpse, or a grave. On the 3rd and the 7th day, the clean one will sprinkle the unclean, who on the 7th day will be clean. The latter will then wash his clothes and bathe in water, and in the evening he will be clean. Anyone who fails to be purified in this way will be outlawed from the community and would defile Yahweh's sanctuary. Such a person is unclean, not having been sprinkled with the water for purification. This will be a perpetual decree for them. The person who sprinkles the water for purification will wash his clothes, and anyone who touches the water for purification will be unclean until evening. Anything that an unclean person touches will be unclean, and anyone who touches it will be unclean until evening. Yeah, that's one way to be lazy. Okay, well, so I'm getting a bit of the ritual of water for purification, getting a little bit more inside here, and I'm thinking while I'm reading this, oh, well, we have certain ways on how we take care of our past, our loved ones, right? Yes? And there are rituals there as well. Not different than this, but I kind of getting more on the picking up a little bit more on how that is kind of a ceremony, the whole thing when someone passes away, right? Yes, and there are certain rules that go with it. So, okay, a little bit odd in a way. Also, so you're touching the purification water and you're unclean. Well, how the heck does that make sense? It's almost like a fallible sentence, right? Yes? Okay. Or a fallible action of, well, but isn't this water supposed to be for purification? Well, then the water must be pure, right? Yeah, but if you touch the water, you're also unclean until you... How does that make sense? Oh, I don't know. People didn't think far enough? Okay. All right. That's the end of 19? How much of this is just, okay. And again, I wonder if we were to go and read up on how the Egyptians took care of their dead, how much of on what they did, the Egyptians, still left over on what the Israelites are doing now, right? Yes, don't know. I have no idea. Interesting. We're reading about the dead today and how they're being taken care of and how it affects the people still alive, the rituals that go with it, having that specific water, these ashes. Reading that on a day like today. I'm going to burn a little candle today for all the ones that gave their lives for their beliefs willingly, in a way, without violence. I can't imagine what some human beings had to go through because of other human beings when it comes to all that. I can't even, it saddens my heart so much to know I saw something, maybe you guys will catch on. There's a French heroine, lived some hundreds of years ago, and she went through some horrific things towards the end. There is a new movie out or something, and they're kind of depicting her as something different than what she is. If one reads up properly on the history of that woman, one will find that in the end, when she was imprisoned, they threw her in with the men, and she suffered immensely among them. Till they took her out and burned her, right? So, supposedly, I haven't seen the movie, but I heard enough about it. But in the movie, supposedly, she's being given a different identity than who she was as a woman. And I think that's a horrific thing to do. If these people really truly would have read up properly on how she suffered in the end and why she suffered like that, due to whom, then they would not have done that. That is so disrespectful. Anyway, thought I'd share that for a moment. There was our donkey. I got to get to the barn, okay? Yes. We'll make it through this day as well. Then tomorrow, then Sunday, then Monday, then Tuesday, then Wednesday, then Thursday, then it's Friday again. Sometimes I wonder if we have the right to feel any kind of happiness, considering how much sorrow is in the past. Right? Yes? If we make things better, be better people, I think then we deserve some happiness too. Well, anyway, that's it. I could go on and on and on about that, but I'm not going to. I got things to do today. God's love and blessings always. May He protect you. It's a day of sorrow, wailing, and lamentation. It's not a good Friday, people. It's a sad Friday, a chara Friday. Okay, that's all for today. I will talk to y'all another time.